In 23, he built something with the wall of Sippar. In 24, he redug the Toledo Canal for the benefit of the Temple of Enlil and also the bed of the Euphrates, which means he dredged the bed of the Euphrates River as to remove a lot of the mud and silt and make the river flow more rapidly, and also to increase irrigation. The Great Wall of Sippar was built in year 25 for the god Shamash and Shanida. The great dais is of gold in 26. 27, he constructed the main emblem of reddish gold, which is carried in front of the army for the great gods as helpers. This is a kind of building up the army and also strengthening his military. The temple of Einam-Che, the house of abundance of Adad in Babylon, was built. Year 29, constructed the image of the goddess Shalala. Year 30, the year following, he constructed the image of Shalala. Now, also in year 30, the leader, that is Hammurabi, beloved of Marduk, Marduk is the god of Babylon, after having defeated the army of Elam from the frontier of Marhashi, also Subartu, Gudium, Eshnuna, and Malgi had raised in masses through the mighty power of the great gods, reestablished, consolidated the foundations of the empire of Sumer and Akkad. Now this is year 30, that's his great conquest. When he conquered Eshnuna, he already cut off half of the empire of Shamshi-Adad of Assyria, because Eshnuna was one of the parts of the empire of Shamshi-Adad, ruled by his son Ishme-Dagan. So Hammurabi conquered that, and in addition to that, he conquered also Marhashi, Subarti, Gutium, an ancient Sumerian city, Eshnuna, and Malgi. And of course now, he consolidated the foundations of the empire of Sumer and Akkad, meaning he has already reconstituted the great empires of the earlier period and called it the empire of Sumer and Akkad. So he has them both, or rather consolidated them into his empire. Iraq today is probably maybe close to 150,000 square miles. At the empire of Babylon, at the maximum, when he ruled over all of Iraq, it would have been that size, about 150,000 square miles. Now, after the year 30, when he had already established his empire, 31, encouraged by an oracle given by Anu and Enlil, who were advancing in front of his army, and through the mighty power which the great gods had given him, he was a match for the country of Emutbal and its king Rimsin of Larsa, and thus forced Sumer and Akkad to obey his orders. So 31, he was still on the warpath, and he conquered these other cities. And by the way, Rimsin of Larsa appears in many of the documents as one of the kings who is opposing Hammurabi. But he's no match for Hammurabi. That is, Hammurabi avoids a war with Rimsin until year 31, and then he gets him, conquers him, after he has conquered the lands surrounding Larsa. So now 32, the hero who proclaims the triumphs of Marduk overthrew in battle with his powerful weapon the army of Eshnuna, Subarti, and Gutium, and also a match for the country of Mankizm and the country along the bank of the Tigris as far as the frontier of the country Subartu. Obviously, he had to go back and reconquer some of these territories, but he was already fairly well in control. Then 33, he redug the canal called Hammurabi spells abundance for the people, the beloved of Anu and Enlil. And he provided, now look what he did, he provided Nippur, Eridu, Ur, Larsa, Uruk, and Isin with a permanent and plentiful water supply. You can see what he's doing. He's not only conquering these countries, he is improving their economy and binding them to Babylon. He's tying them all together. I mean, this construction project of 33 is very important, and he says so, with a permanent and plentiful water supply, and reorganized Sumer and Akkad from its scattering, meaning he reorganized the empire of Sumer and Akkad. Mari and Malgi overthrew in battle and made Mari and also several other cities of Subartu by a friendly agreement listen to his orders. Now, who was Mari? Mari was the kingdom on the Euphrates, which was the other branch of the Assyrian Empire. Eshnuna was the older son of Shamshi-Adad. Mari was ruled by the younger son of Shamshi-Adad. Now he conquered them both, which means only Assyria is left, but by this time he had already cut off all of the flanks of the Assyrian Empire and was ruling over his other subject countries. And once he subdued them, he says, by a friendly agreement, they listened to his orders, meaning now he has given them a friendly agreement, a treaty. They listened to his orders, meaning it's okay, no more threat. You know what's interesting about Mari? We have this from other documents. When Shamshi-Adad of Assyria conquered Mari and installed his son as king, Yasmach-Adad, his younger son, the king of Mari fled to Babylon. Hammurabi gave him political asylum. Now, political asylum, as we know from antiquity and down to modern times, means if someone flees a country and asks for political asylum, you grant him the right to live, but he's not allowed to engage in any kind of agitation of politics. So you tell him, all right, you'll be here and you can live in peace, but don't talk against the kingdom that just ousted you, you know, because that's already hostile and I don't want to go to war with them. But Hammurabi kept this king of Mari as a guest until he was ready to conquer Mari. Then when he conquered Mari, he reinstalled him and said, in effect, he's coming back to his legitimate throne. By this time, the man was over 30 years over, you know, older, but nevertheless, he said, I'm putting him back on his throne. He's the legitimate king of Mari. And we find this happen. And by the way, when kingdoms refuse to grant a political asylum, or they're forced, then nasty things happen. For example, when Hannibal was defeated by the Romans at the Battle of Zama, he fled to Antiochus in Syria for political asylum. Well, the Romans demanded that they return him. So Antiochus said, yeah, but he's, you know, political asylum. We don't care. We want him. So Antiochus told Hannibal, what can I do? So Hannibal said, you don't do anything. I'll do it. He committed suicide. It's interesting to see how these dramas play out historically.